Alright, here we go, y'all. Let's do this shit again. I recorded this video like 4 times a week ago. Got like a 15-minute video. Realized I didn't like it after editing it. Then deleted it. Then a whole bunch of hectic life stuff happened. So my apologies. The Superman video will probably come out before this though. So it probably wouldn't even. No, probably wouldn't. This probably wouldn't even make sense. But yeah. You know what? I didn't like it because I was trying to make it as short as possible just so I could make it into one Instagram reel. Came out as a 16-minute video. So it was in a weird space to where it was too long for a reel. And since it was too long for just a reel, I didn't get to talk about every movie in a way that did it justice and I explained myself well. I was like I was rushing through it. So since I accepted, I'm not gonna be able to get through all 10 of these movies without just saying A, B, C, D, E, F, just saying a title in like one sentence. Cause I'm a yapper. Can't do that. It doesn't work for me. Not authentic. It doesn't work for me. If the algorithm don't like it, algorithm don't like it. Fuck it. Let's just put this out. And I'll finesse it some other way. But yeah, all that to say, I'm gonna go all in. I'm going to talk about these movies in a way that is true to me and how I feel would do these justice. Also, Peter Chain. Hey, shout out to Malcolm X, man. Long live all the black leaders. But anyway, so I have 3 honorable mentions before we get into the actual top 10. Honorable mention number 1. Oh, also, I'm sorry. I usually, this is going to be, I separate my movies usually. I have a top comedies, top action movies, top superhero movies, top childhood movies. This is going to be an amalgamation of them. So this is as close to a top 10 movies list I can get from me. I can't even really tell you all the way what the criteria is. It's just just shit that I love for real. So take it with, I don't want to say a grain of salt, but yeah. So 3 honorable mentions. First one is Jungle Book. 1967, 67 or 64, whatever, the original one. As far as my favorite childhood movie is between that and Cars, I'm gonna give it the Jungle Book today because it's not talked about enough for some reason. Just classic Disney, a lot of emotion in the animation, some of the same motion animation movements they use for the bear and Robin Hood, same voice actor too. But yeah, Shere Khan, just cool as hell. I love the story. I remember it was some of my earliest memories with my dad. For sure, was watching that movie. I still have the disc when when he had his Xbox 360 that eventually got passed down to me because I kept on trying to get on the controller. He eventually gave it to me. But yeah, just popping that disc in the Xbox 360 and just watching it with him, singing the songs, the bare necessities and the I want to be like you and everything like that. Yeah, it's just memories, man. Really, just memories. I love the story. I love the animation. I don't know how much to say. It's just a real personal thing. It's not like a IMB a letterbox, whatever the fuck this shit is called, breakdown where I can give you the cinematography, this, that, and third. It's memories. It's just real close to me. I grew up thinking I was Mowgli and shit, running up the steps on all fours and shit, just jumping around the couch and shit like that. Just Second one is something I can break down. Actually, is 12 Angry Men as my second honorable mention, man. As y'all will tell from this list, I love dialogue-driven movies. I love dialogue-driven movies, man. That's the best thing to me. It's something that makes stuff really rewatchable. As Tarantino said, it's like a great story isn't like a quick right turn, a quick left turn, because then it's like once you know the plot twist, it's not it loses rewatch value. Not saying you can't rewatch it, it just kind of loses the value. It's like you don't get to experience that shock the same way you did the first time. Yeah, but that movie just unfolds in such a way to where I can it's like a good album where I can it's like having a great song where you want to learn the lyrics. A great dialogue movie is wanting to learn the dialogue and you wanting to like kind of say it along or certain things hit certain lines just hit right here, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just such great dialogue, so well done back and forth. The story, the messages of it hold true today and probably always will as far as prejudice goes, as far as like benefit of the doubt goes, where it's like we never even learn if the kid is guilty or not. All we know is there is a reasonable doubt. And so that's all that really mattered. And even the one guy who was like on the jury duty, he was like, we have nothing to gain or lose from this. We don't know this kid who lives or dies. We don't live or die. We don't lose no money, no nothing. This wasn't the victim of the crime, was not someone we knew to where we have a vendetta of justice or him being let free. So it was like, let's just do this the right way all the way through because we have no dog in the race. And obviously the last guy to say not guilty, he did have an emotional dog in the race because of the things he went through with his son. But yeah, beyond all that, cinematography wise, the amount of one shots and just how the camera followed him around, amazing. The close ups on the face of the old man, who was a very observant guy. So they showed close ups of him because that's kind of how he perceived people, is how I took it. I'm just trying to think of other things, but yeah, just the way just the way that things had unfolded in that story are just amazing. Without me spoiling, I kind of already spoiled the ending of it. Yeah, I'm trying to go as spoiler free with some of these movies as I can, so bear with me. I'll put in editing if I spoil something integral. Um, but yeah, man, it's just an absolute classic film, just a masterclass of things, of dialogue, of a story unfolding, of getting a message through without it being too preachy in a way. And also, I love movies that kind of play on. I love mystery books. Even as a kid, like when we had the book fairs, I wanted the mystery books. I wanted, always wanted those. I love shit like that. I love that. I love word searches. I love using my brain just to figure things out. Um, so I spoke on Superman in Superman review of how when George Lucas was like, they were like, how is they going to know who the bad guy is in the opening scene of A New Hope when there was no dialogue? He was like, oh, it's a white, bright setting. The good guys have their mask with their face out. Oh, door blast open, guy, tall, all black, can't see his face. Still get the idea. In this, where it's like we don't see the court case play out. We get their information piece by piece as it goes on, and we have to deduct things and figure things out and guess things as they go along and piece it together. I love that. So, and I'm already at 8 minutes. Fuck, I'm not through the honorable mentions. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? This is what I do. And then last honorable mention is, I can do this one quickly actually, is Wedding Crashers. My favorite comedy. Nothing else to say. Huge Vince Vaughn guy. Owen Wilson is hilarious. That dinner table scene where she, the girlfriend, oh my goodness, was had this nigga on the table, bro, and he was trying to hold his shit together, is some of the funniest shit I've seen in my life. Also, I'm a DMV dude, so when he tackled him and said crab cakes in football, that's what Maryland does. That's hilarious. I can just quote lines from that movie. Big tree fall hard. Like it's just so much stuff from that movie. And even you shut your mouth when you're talking to me. I'm like, I say that in real life. I didn't know that's where this came from. So yeah, I've been a Vince Vaughn guy forever. One of my favorite movies as a kid was Dodgeball. I watched that with my parents as a kid. Probably had no business doing that, but just instilled something in me, I guess. Yeah, I love The Internship and all those movies. So yeah, it's just hilarious. Just had to throw a comedy in here because there's not a lot in here. So number 10, going to the official top 10 list. 10 minutes into the movie and 10 minutes into the video and we're at the top 10. But number 10 is The Matrix. Great. Revolutionized action movies. For sure, action sequences between the slow-mo, the sound effects, and just things like that. Yeah, the camera shots, everything like that, just kind of revolutionized action movies. And then the messages ring true as far as him believing in himself, to where he wasn't the one until he believed he was the one, regardless of what the oracle told him, regardless of if he made the jump, and all this other shit that, like, this these quote unquote prophecies spoke of. It was like, you have to, like, he was trying to get confirmation he was the one. He was trying to get it up here. He had to get it in here. He had to get it in here before he could do anything. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that message, and of course the obvious thing of the Matrix of just pulling the wool from over top of your eyes, and the simulation you're living in, and so many messages of some people aren't ready to be pulled from the matrix, and some of them will even fight to defend it. That's real. Have you ever come across new information that is contrary to most people's dogma in life, that even if they are wrong, they will fight to defend it? Whether it's eating healthy, trying to get someone to stop smoking, someone to stop drinking. Like, I'm like, nigga, you have a long line of cancer in your family, and you are vaping every 2 hours, and you just drinking like a sailor. Pause on whatever that hand gesture was. It was supposed to be someone drinking, but that looked crazy from this angle. Pause on that. But yeah, and you try to tell them, then they get defensive and they'll try to defend it. Same thing when you talk government acts and everything like that. And people are just now starting to come around, but even then it's with half the information. But that's another video for another channel. That's a podcast thing. Just what else can I say about this movie for real? But yeah, man, it's just like I guess just messages, revolutionizing action movies, pop culture influence, and then showing the different stages of someone, like the enslaved person, kind of, where it's like the person who just tried fighting and got tired of it, with that being Cypher. Of course, the people who don't know they're enslaved, with the just the normal everyday people, and then the people who are trying to fight, like Morpheus. That's like the 5%ers, maybe, like, then the agents being the 10%ers. Anyone who's into this type of shit. But yeah, and then just the 85ers being everyone else in the simulation. So yeah, it's a lot of truths to that movie. A lot of them. Don't take it literally, nigga. You're not hooked up to a pod for robots. But just think about it and figure out what it actually means, because I can make a 30-minute video on that by itself. But yeah, The Matrix is definitely up there for me. Number 9 is Casino. That is the greatest mob movie in my opinion. I have not seen The Godfather though, so keep that in mind when I say that. I've not seen The Godfather. I've seen Goodfellas, The Irishman, Scarface, Casino, Donnie Brasco. I feel like I'm forgetting something important. I have not seen Usual Suspects. I started it at one point and I threw up from something I ate that night, and I didn't finish it. I'm forgetting an important movie. It will come to me as I start talking. Let me just start talking. Yeah, it's just my favorite Joe Pesci movie, favorite Scorsese movie, favorite Joe Pesci role would be Goodfellas, but movie is that one for sure. I like the feeling of not knowing if Ace dies and or if he lives, and seeing how we got up to that point. I love that. I love the journey we went on. Him simping for Ginger pissed me off on a lot of levels. I'm like, nigga, fuck signs. Like, nigga, how they say, like, red flags and red lights, nigga? You done ran all the red lights, nigga. They hitting you. They done smacked the ticket on your forehead, nigga, and you still going this way. Like, what the hell you doing? What are we doing, bro? So, yeah, that shit pissed me the hell off, but, it is what it is. But I don't know. I don't know how to explain what it is. Just that movie just all the way engulfed me into the world more than Goodfellas did. For some reason. It just did. It just kind of did. I put it over Scarface because Scarface is more impactful culturally and everything like that. But Tony pissed me off a lot of that movie. Like, just him killing Manolo and how much he played into his own downfall was kind of crazy. It's a little bit too over the top for me. Just a little bit. In Casinos, it's like the gradual unfolding of it and how much of it was out of his hands, I guess, didn't take me out of the movie as much. Sometimes with Scarface, some shit where he would just act so irrationally, I'm like, what the fuck are we doing, man? But I love Tony. Don't get that wrong. I'm not here to bash Scarface. Classic, absolute classic. I just put Casino over it for, just for those reasons. It just completely engulfed me into the movie. I love seeing how They worked with the casinos and everything. Oh, the scene of Joe Pesci going off on De Niro in the middle of the desert. I love that shit. And where he was like, either he's going to kill me or or just whatever. I'm gonna get buried in a hole and just all this other shit. Yeah. The next one is Good Will Hunting. This is gonna take me a while. I have never in my life related to a character more than I did with Will Hunting. With my own life and things I've gone through, the way that he internalizes things and kind of wants to prove himself without the help of anybody, like without feeling like a charity case, like where anyone who tries too hard to care for him, except for a select few of people, he feels like is charity. So he's like, yo, back the fuck up. I don't need all of this. And but the difference between me and him is I kind of know what success is to me and what I want to do. He doesn't really know what it is that he wants in life. I do. However, relationships wise, he doesn't know what he wants out of people, to where has these abandonment issues and shit and all these other things. So he doesn't know what he wants out of people and out of his relationships with people. So he kind of takes a few steps forward because it's something that in his soul he needs, but then takes those 5 steps back because it gets too uncomfortable. He's like, well, what the fuck you want from me? What the hell, what are you going to do when we get to X, Y, and Z and all this other shit? I absolutely, and how it comes from his childhood, I relate to that on so many levels, man. But the way how he found so much solace in improving himself, but he didn't want it to, I don't even know how to put it. Yeah, I don't know, but he just didn't want to be maybe like exploited or just whatever, however you want to put it. So he didn't know where to go or what to do. But yeah, I feel him, man. I 100%. Even the whole thing he was talking to his girl is like, where he was like, oh, my fault, my phone. Okay, I hope my phone was about to die. I hope that didn't fuck up the video. Where she was like, I just want to love you, right? And he was like, what do I have a sign on my back that says save me? No, look, I need that shit. No, like I am him no shorty up or nothing, but like I've definitely, or even lashed out, but I've definitely done that same thing, just more calmly than what he did. But yeah, just that shit. And he was like, "What do you want to know? What that I had this, that, and the third happen to me? You don't want to hear that shit, I'm like, bro. I feel, I feel you, man. I feel you, bro. And I've just never. We don't get many characters in anything where they are super smart, like intelligent, but they ain't a punk either. Like we see Will sneak into school and solve an equation that took math geniuses 5 years to prove. He just did that shit just because he knew how to do it. But then we see him in the street throwing hands with niggas and then throwing hands with the cop and shit and then go into the court and defend himself and then make all these quotes and shit. I'm like, yeah. So, and even when, I forgot, I don't think they ever say the name of his best friend, but his best friend is Ben Affleck. That's the actor who plays him. Where this dude in the Harvard school was trying to like play Ben Affleck like he was a dumbass nigga or whatever because he was trying to talk to Holly the Shorty or whatever. And then Will comes out the cut and he just schools this snob dude intellectually and everything. And then the snob dude, he was like, well, I'll have a degree and then you will be serving my kids fries on our way to a skiing trip. And then Will was like, well, at least I won't be unoriginal. But if you got a problem with that, we can step outside right now. And the dude was like, no, we ain't got no problem. So he proved, he was like, you can't fuck with me up here, and you definitely can't fuck with me right here. So what we doing? You don't see that. You don't really see that in movies, man. You don't see that in anything where you get both sides of that coin. So I love that. I love that because, yeah. Like I said, I relate to him so much, man. I feel like every man should watch Good Will Hunting. Just the way how it goes through what it is. Yeah, any person with trauma, really, but just every man specifically. Of It's a way without being too preachy or corny, showing how to kind of deal with emotions and mental things and opening up and unlocking your full potential and shit like that. It's just important for any man to watch, I think. Next up after that is The Avengers. Marvel's The Avengers. This may be controversial, but this is the greatest comic book movie of all time to me. Number one. over everything. Argue with me. I ain't gonna say argue with your mama. Argue with me because I got time. It, after all of those movies we had, where I talk about what made those movies special, from Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America, and Hulk, was the different tonality of all of them. And for us to get a movie where they all came together and still all held true to their own tone as the characters, but it didn't feel incohesive at all. Even with Black Widow and Hawkeye, who Hawkeye had maybe 5 lines in that movie, and Natasha, who had some cool stuff. It wasn't a main character in Iron Man 2, and for them to still not feel out of place at all, amazing. Hawkeye even feeling important when like he was under Loki's control and he basically single-handedly took down that shield helicarrier and caused all that discourse. Yeah, everyone got their moment, from Black Widow escaping Hulk, Black Widow being the one to shut the portal down, Iron Man and Captain America going back and forth. And let me just say, a hero like you're a laboratory experiment, Rogers. Everything special about you came out of a bottle. Nigga. That's one of my favorite lines in movie history. Smoke that nigga, boy. Yeah, but that him closing the throwing the missile into the portal. Yep. Hulk getting his I'm always angry moment. Yep. Thor 1v1 and Hulk, beautiful. Thor just bottlenecking the portal and him fighting Loki, all those moments. Oh, Hulk with the when he slammed Loki and called him a puny god. Everyone got their moment in this movie. You get to see Nick Fury be manipulative and shit by rubbing Coulson's blood on the trading cards and giving that speech to the Avengers to send them out. Everyone got their moment, man. It was wonderful. It was cohesive. We got a threat that demanded all of the Avengers, to where it's like if you have a threat that demands for Thor and Hulk to be there, then it's like, the fuck is Black Widow going to do? That's kind of where we at. But for them to have, and if we have a threat where all we need is Captain America, Hawkeye, and Black Widow, then it's like, well, why the fuck is Thor and Hulk here? Because that's just OP. They gave us a good enough threat to where it was planetary, but could still be confined in New York, and where every hero was still needed. And also, we got to see Captain America be a strategist and how he set everyone up where they were. We got Hawkeye just no look sniping niggas and shit, and like directing people from the top. And yeah, man, oh my God, when Iron Man shot the lasers off of Cap's shield and they reflected, oh my goodness, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? Thor versus Iron Man was cool. Thor hitting the shield and then him bouncing off of it, that was great. Yeah, so many moments. Everyone felt important. And it was just it was a moment in history, man. And let me say, when they all circle up and that Avengers theme plays for the first time and Hulk lets out that huge roar and the camera goes around, I can watch it in a clip, I can rewatch the movie, I can watch someone's reaction video to it where the movie is just in a little box down here and they're talking over it. It does not matter. I will get chills every single time. And also, I believe that is the first movie I ever saw in theaters, because I do remember seeing it with my dad. And I have a lot of toys from that movie. I have an Iron Man helmet from that movie. I have the Thor hammer from that movie, where you put these little like bullet things inside, like just like a hole in the top of the hammer, and then there's a button where like it will make a thunder sound and light up, and then it will shoot out of there. Yes, I have those foam Hulk hands. I have a Captain America shield that has like a little slit in the front, and there's like a trigger like on the handle, and you pull it, and then it shoots like these little cylinders out. I got all that shit. That movie is special to me. Moving on, we have Hustle and Flow. Now, stay with me. I know we took a hard left turn. Childhood movie. Like, shouldn't be. I'm born in 2005, by the way. Probably shouldn't be a childhood movie for me, but I got a cousin. Hey, shout out to you, man. I got a cousin who says, man, bro, you was 2 years old going, whoop that trick, whoop that trick. It's just a childhood movie for me, bro. But me being a rapper and a musician growing up, I love just how it goes, how the movie goes, man. Of seeing him progressively believe in himself more, yeah, just believing in himself more throughout the movie as he starts to get his groove and just get his flow, and then seeing the girls believe in him more. Um, a shot, and also Taraji P Henson is in. If I had to go a top five of like women I had a crush on, Taraji is up there. So how sweet and nice she was to DJ was, I love that of course too. Yeah, but it's just him believing in himself more, and he was like, if I can pimp all these hoes, I can damn sure pimp Skinny Black, the dude the Ludacris played. So yeah, how he never lost his composure during that time. He kind of got it together and got his foot in the door. So yeah, just all that shit, and then obviously soundtrack 3 6 Mafia I think did the soundtrack for that, some of the main songs. So yeah, that was great. Yeah, and it's just childhood movie to me. Childhood movie to me, and as an artist getting, excuse me, getting older, it definitely hits harder. So next up is Shawshank Redemption. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. I don't know why. If you told me that The Shawshank Redemption is the greatest movie of all time, I would not argue with you. I wouldn't argue with you at all. I have not read the book, so I don't know how good it is as an adaptation from the book. But just as a movie, is one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. Um, from the symbolism of this is going to be all spoilers, by the way. So I'll probably have timestamps in of like each movie, and you'll just have to skip through this one. There's no way for me to not spoil this. Of how the institutionalized thing with Brooks, and how he found there was like a raven that fell out somewhere in the yard, and he picked it up and he raised it. And when he got his parole, he's been in the prison for 50 years. He has to let the raven go. So it's kind of like a caged bird being set free, kind of thing. But also that bird is institutionalized. It wasn't in the wild. I never had to hunt. It didn't have to learn how to build a nest or fly out or anywhere like that, or find a mate or raise the eggs or anything. So when Brooks leaves the prison, he's kind of struggling for a while, and he ends up killing himself. That raven probably went through some of the similar things where it went out into the wild and may have possibly died because it was never prepared for life on the outside. It was so dependent on life inside of the prison, and that's just a beautiful symbolism. And also, when Andy escapes, Red talks about how some birds aren't meant to be caged because their feathers are just too bright. So, and lo and behold, Andy, since his mind he was always ready. Not only was he always ready to leave the prison, he always gave himself to something to work on in the prison to make it feel more normal. Between making chess pieces, doing the tax returns for everybody, helping dudes with their high school equivalency, building the library, just always having a project that there's something more from the outside of the prison. The music thing where he's like, there's something in here that they can't take from you. That's just beautiful. And also how they don't spell it out for you in this movie. You don't really know if Andy is guilty or innocent until we get to like the last 30 minutes of the movie. And then in like 5 of those minutes, we don't know if he ends up killing himself or not, or end up getting out. And the way it all tied back together with the fake person that he made from the posters that he got and everything, and him using that to his advantage when he got out, beautiful. And you can really say, and I believe that, and especially since he's narrating, you can say that this movie, Morgan Freeman is the main character and not Andy. And what I mean by that is this movie is Red's redemption, because if Andy never got there, Red would have been institutionalized as well, and he was the only reason why Andy was the only reason why he still had some hope, and that's what the movie's about, is hope. Whereas when Andy gets there, he just gives him just more things to strive for, and you see his growth. The last time they have the I don't know what's called, when they ask him if he thinks he's been rehabilitated, and just shit like that. And then once again, the messages, how it shows the prison system, and all the things that go in with that, and how it deals with someone's mental state. Like how Red said, they send you here for life. That's exactly what they take, or at least just the part that counts anyway. Whether you were a dead man walking, you're a dead man walking. Whether you end up making it out, or if you die in that prison. So yeah, man, just so many parallels, so many good metaphors, good lessons, cinematography, great. Storytelling that's one of them ones, man. That's just one of them ones. And once again, how well stuff unfolds and how good the dialogue is, that even the big twist of him escaping the prison, it still has a good level of rewatchability, especially if you watch it with someone. So it just has a great level of rewatchability because those things and those lines and the messages, they just still hit right here. So yeah, I know we done been all over the place, man. We done went from the Matrix to a mob movie to Good Will Hunting to superheroes, to Hustle and Dan Flow, and then to Shawshank. So that's what 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All right, yep. So this is number 4. Yep, number 4 is they clone Tyrone. I can make a whole video on this movie by itself, but The Matrix is number 10, and this is up here, and this is why. They clone Tyrone is the black man's Matrix. It is the black man's Matrix. Where some of those things you don't take literally, of them quite literally cloning us and then replacing us in this, and third. But if you use your critical thinking, you can see what they mean by cloning these people, just by the people they took from the preacher, the dope boy, and the pimp, of how they wanted to, out of all the people and the archetypes of the black man and the black community, they're going to take these and make clones of them, as in having the next generation idolize them kind of blindly, and then you make clones of them and you keep a cycle going to keep a form of control. And these are things that you use to keep people in place. Is a misinterpretation and misuse of religion. That's why they do the preacher. The disconnect of man and woman. That's why you have the pimp, of them using each other. And then the dope boy, drugs. And then you have the drugs. Oh my God, what the hell? This is my teeth. Anyway, yeah. So there's that aspect of it. And then other things that I don't want to get too much into because that's not what this is for. But go check out Riza Islam, man, because he talked about a lot of this shit. But what I love about this, and some people I don't think realize this, is that it shows that even on a small scale, what we can do by coming together. How they united the rival, not really gangs, but just cliques together, and they overran one of those government facilities that had been there for God knows how long, because the original Fontaine was so old. He looked like he was like 30, 40 years old. That shit had to have been there for a minute. They overran that, even if it's a small victory. And I love how they united to go save the Black Queen, to go save the Black woman, which was Yo-Yo. So that's just a beautiful, and that's just a beautiful thing, man. We're just showing what happens when black people come, when so-called black people, melanated people come together, just for a common good cause, man. Just how powerful that can be. As far as camera work, one of one, man. The grains that they use on that camera, the different shots, the music, how it felt, I don't even know, almost like psychedelic, but not psychedelic in a way that's otherworldly. Psychedelic is in like the uncomfortability and uncertainty these characters are feeling. You pick that up just from the setting, Also, the different archetypes of the black people and the different stages you go through. Like the dude Frog on the corner store, he's a guy who's always giving them hints and dropping them little bits of wisdom, but they never paid attention to him because he was just on the corner, just drunk. I'm like, there's some people when they find out different truths of life or go through certain shit, we don't know what he went through. Maybe he tried to fight it before and went through some shit, or he just quit, But he was like, he got that same information. He just couldn't take it, but he still helped guide them in the right direction. So yeah, everything I talk about, man, in the music, and if you talk to me personally, of just conspiracies, not conspiracy theories, conspiracy fact. Conspiracy just means multiple people coming together to do evil. Theories is you are theorizing the multiple people come together and do evil. These are things that are proven. This movie touches on those in so many good metaphorical ways, and sometimes they just get straight up the fuck literal. Straight up the fuck literal, you know? And yeah, it's beautifully done. It's beautifully done, man. It is the black person's Matrix. I think every black person should watch that movie and watch it with intention. Beyond just trying to be entertained. It's more a documentary than a movie, man. That shit is it's powerful. It's a powerful film. That's number 4. Number 3 is Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. Let's lighten up a little bit, okay? We done went from Shawshank to, you know, all that heavy stuff to this, a whole bunch of stuff, you know. Let's have some fun here. Star Wars: Empire Strikes Back. I know, Revenge of the Sith. I know. Empire Strikes Back, man. What can I say? How many iconic franchise and then just movie changing moments happen in this movie? From the obvious one, the I Am Your Father, franchise changing, cinema changing. Our first time meeting Yoda, franchise changing. Our first time seeing a physical Force ghost with Obi-Wan, that just expands the universe and what's possible. Just genre changing, man. Absolutely, just change. First time meeting Boba Fett, a character so cool, where he didn't even have a fight sequence in this fucking movie. That 40, not 40. When they bring back Boba Fett, like obviously they showed him in. Let's say this: a character so dope that 19 years later they had to expand on his race with the Mandalorians, okay, by showing Jango Fett, all right? Well, no, not 19 years later, because that would be 1999. When did Attack of the Clones come out? 2002? So 22 years later. Had to expand on them with that. And then, like, when did the Clone Wars first air? Like 2007? And like 5 years later, had to bring him back as a kid. And then another, like, 15 years later, had to bring him back in a show and be like, oh, he's not dead. That popular. We meet him. And also the improvement of the lightsaber fights. As much as I love the original trilogy, I'll be the first one to tell you, those lightsaber fights ain't got shit on the prequels. Not even, can't hold a candle. But the enormous leap between Darth Vader versus Luke Skywalker in Empire Strikes Back compared to Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader in A New Hope is astronomical. It's astronomical. So yeah, also, we get the foundation of Leia and Han's relationship, and the fact that those two went together is probably when George Lucas started putting together up here. He wanted Luke and Leia to be siblings. So once again, franchise altering, giving Darth Vader 2 children. So also first time seeing the Emperor, franchise changing. They're like, oh, there's someone above of Darth Vader. We thought he was the head honcho, you know? No. And then Yoda explaining the Force, franchise changing. Whereas, not to get too deep, but the way he explained the Force is how I look at life. Most people just think of it as a superpower, but he said it's just the energy force in the universe that is between all living things that surrounds us and binds us together. That's life. That's energy, if you want to call it chi, ki, whatever. That's just energy, life energy. Certain beings, certain people in that universe happen to be able to tap into that life energy more and be more connected to it, and then they get abilities from it, which is, you know, you go back in time, people say, well, at one point you could do telekinesis, you go look at CIA files, whatever, you know, but that's real life, you know, so it's just a connection of life energy in beings that lets them, if they tap into it, they can achieve great things, such as jumping great heights, the telekinesis, seeing the future. We learn later on in Star Wars, you get abilities like Beast Tame and all these other things. And I love the concept of how, and this is what makes it more real to me in my spiritual stuff, that it makes it more hit home for me, is how certain people have a midichlorian count, like Anakin and everyone who's there, just more naturally strong with the Force. There are some people who are naturally more connected to nature and life energy and have visions and dream in color and lucid dream more and things like that. And then there's some people who have to work towards it, like Obi-Wan, who wasn't naturally strong with the Force. I know this has nothing to do with the Empire Strikes Back, but I'm just saying. But he worked towards it, and he was probably the greatest Jedi ever. And it just shows that, like, it's not a superpower. It's a power, not a superpower in the sense of, oh, I got it, you don't. Everyone has it. but some people will have a more natural and stronger connection and a higher ceiling than others. So, but all that to say, what it has to do with Empire Strikes Back is that sets a foundation of telling us what the Force is. Because then A New Hope is just use the Force, Luke. The Force is this thing. And Obi-Wan explains it. He does explain it, but it's just kind of, it's different with the way that Yoda does. It's more elegant. Or eloquent. I think eloquent is different than elegant. I think eloquent is well spoken. Anyway, this is going to be an hour-long video, y'all. So, and, all right. Is that all I have to say about that? Oh, I love you, I know is one of the funniest lines ever when he gets encased in carbonite. Yeah, and that's the first time we meet Lando. You know, there's black people in this universe. Whoop-de-doo, you know. Yeah. Yeah, man, it's just the best Star Wars movie to me. That's how I feel. Number 2 is Kill Bill. This is my list, motherfucker, so I'm putting them both as one movie. But if I had to choose one, I like Volume 1 more than Volume 2, which is tough to say because Volume 2 has Padme, and Padme is one of the coolest characters to ever get solo screen time. She is the bride, Uma Thurman. Beatrix Kiddo is the most badass character, not named John Wick, ever, bro, ever. Classic Tarantino. Once again, dialogue-driven movies. Y'all can see from the list. Amazing dialogue, as it's going to be in any Tarantino movie. Action sequences almost unparalleled, man. Shots, oh my goodness. When the lights turn blue and you just see her shadow, and she's like with the sword fighting people and shit. My God, man, that is just gorgeous. The fight with Oren. Let's talk about, this is like wrestling, where it's like you have the great spots and choreography, and then there's the psychology of wrestling, from like both of them being knocked down, Shawn Michaels hitting the kip up, and then Undertaker doing the sit up, and then they just go boom, boom, trading blows slowly, and that builds back up the suspense. Her cutting through the crazy 88, and then we get to the slow, drawn out fight with Oren is amazing. As well as her fight with Gogo. He mastered the psychology of storytelling through action sequences. With that, I love, especially from Star Wars, I think this is where a lot of this stems from. I love being thrown into a universe where it's like things are already established. I love the feeling of, it's like what Tarantino said about Pulp Fiction, actually. He was like, and I'm using that as a clip in one of my albums, actually, where he was like, there's no problem with being momentarily confused if you feel you're in good hands with a movie. I love the feeling of, I don't know what's going on, but not because there is a mistake, because I'm not supposed to know what's going on, and we're going to get there. I love that feeling. I love that feeling, because then that's what just encapsulates me into a movie where I'm like, yeah, I want to be here. Because I'm excited to figure out what the fuck is happening. And that makes such a good first watch. And if it's executed well, it makes it rewatchable. Because then it's like, I know where this is going, and now I get to just enjoy the ride in its entirety, you know? Man, when the end of the movie where he's like, does she know her daughter is still alive? And then it cuts, and then the song drops, like the drums drop from the flute of the song, the Lonely Shepherd song. Oh my goodness, I get chills. Just like with the Avengers scene I talk about, I get chills every time from that. Oh my God. Just, yeah, so many iconic scenes. The creativity, man. Tarantino is like the fucking MF Doom of movies. How like MF Doom shit is like, oh, okay, well, hey, end of the song, here's a 2.5 minutes of cartoon skits and, like, I don't know, stand-up comedy with a cartoon intro beat chopped up, going into the next song that's just an instrumental and some voice clips from a Sesame Street episode, you know, random shit. It's like, okay, yeah. In the Tarantino movie, we go from her being shot in the head, her killing someone, into an anime cutoff of us seeing Oren's backstory. What? There is nothing from film school, I would imagine, that says, oh yeah, that goes there. No, it's just, this feels right to him. And it's done so unapologetically, to where, since he didn't walk on eggshells making it, You don't feel like you're walking on eggshells watching it. It's just, oh, we're here now. Okay, great. And it's just so, it's execution done to a T, man. It's like Tarantino is the epitome of ideas meet execution. It's just it's a wonderful movie, man. Some of the best action, and then Bill's speech about Superman and how that connects to her and everything is great. Him holding the daughters to still be alive, that's a dirty motherfucker. That's a dirty motherfucker for that, man. And I love that their fight scene wasn't drawn out, it was more emotional. We got to see the 5-point palm exploding heart technique. And I like that Bill, justified isn't a word, but I understand him. I don't need villains to always be, I talk about this in Superman, righteous as to where they're right, but I need to at least understand you. If I thought you got killed, and I spent months not only mourning you, but looking for who killed you, and then I find you getting married and pregnant, oh my God. Me personally, I'm not killing them. But I'm like, oh, I understand. I understand. I'm not mad at you. Like, imagine if Kill Bill, instead of following her story, we saw a movie where it was Bill and Beatrix together. We got to see the relationship for how many years, and then she died or disappears, and then the movie ends with, like, imagine we had a Kill Beatrix movie or whatever, and then the first movie ends with him finding her pregnant and getting married. As a viewer, would you not want him to get revenge? Like, just with the information that he had, would you not want him to get revenge? That's all I'm saying. So, yeah. And my number one, bro, back-to-back Tarantino, is Pulp Fiction. I said I love dialogue-driven movies. There is no movie I've seen with better dialogue than Pulp Fiction. Nothing. And I just haven't seen it yet, man. The amount of things I can quote from this movie. I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing. What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what? What English, motherfucker, do you speak it? The whole Path of the Righteous Man speech, get chills every time. Even the shit I shouldn't quote that's just funny to me. Did you see a sign on my garage that said dead inner storage? No, you know why? Because storing dead N-words ain't my fucking business, It's just, I probably shouldn't laugh at that, probably blasphemous wearing a Malcolm X chain and then saying I'm okay with Tarantino doing that, but it was funny. I don't know what else to say to you. It was funny. But yeah, it's just a masterclass in storytelling, bro. It's just, it's perfect. I wouldn't change a damn thing about that movie, man. It's just so great. And it's crazy how even with albums, certain things they are my favorites. For some reason, I don't understand them at first. MF Doom is my second favorite rapper. I didn't get it at first until I got more information and spent more time with it. Only Built for Cuban Links is one of my favorite albums. I didn't get it at first because the production was so different from Liquid Swords, which I had just heard, and I didn't get, and the slang was so much heavier, so I wasn't catching bars, so I thought, oh, he's not as lyrical, it's just, he's not as good, and I don't love this album, until I spent more time and I understood it. Pulp Fiction, the first time I watched this, I was like, what did I just watch? Kind of like, what was the point of this? What happened, It was my second time watching it where I was like, oh, I love this. And it was my third time watching it where I was like, oh, this is my favorite movie of all time. And I've had some people watch it where they were like, I don't understand what just happened. What did I just watch? But they kind of enjoyed it because of how outlandish it was. The point of Pulp Fiction, and not a lot of people get this, and there's YouTube videos on it, so some people did get it, but even then, I don't love how they explain it, so I'm explaining it in my way, is second chances is, I think, the message of that movie. And Jules talking about divine intervention is how they get that across. Everyone in this movie got a second chance at one point or another. So we have Butch, who killed the boxer and had no remorse and ripped off Marcellus Wallace's money. Now, his sin is probably less ripping off the money because it's not like Marcellus was a virtuous man, but it was more so killing the other boxer and having no remorse for it. Um, he, oh yeah, and then so he gets, what was I about to say? Yeah, after he kills Vincent, him and Marcellus get captured in the freaky dungeon of the thrift store, and he escapes, and he can either leave Marcellus down there to get R-worded as he was, or he can go back and save him because he got a second chance by being able to escape. He went back there and he saved Marcellus. Had he just left, Marcellus might have got out and still hunted him and killed him, or one of Marcellus' goons who was already looking for him might have found him outside the door and popped him. We don't know, but that's possible if he didn't take his second chance. He took his second chance and went down there and helped out Marcellus. Marcellus, for all of his sins, and already everything he was doing, probably, I don't know, yeah, just all the evil he's done is probably why he's in this position anyway. But he was stood behind Butch with a shotgun, and he cocked a shotgun. He could have shot Butch after he just saved him, but he took his second chance. He let Butch alone, and he shot the cop who was doing the just unspeakable things to him. He shot the cop, and he told Butch, "There is no me and you. You lost your LA privileges. You leave town. We're good." You feel me? He told him that he took his second chance, and as far as we know, Marcellus lived happily ever after. So those two took their second chance, and they both got to live. We then go on to Jules and we go on to Jules and Vincent. Well, actually, no. Let's go to the couple in the diner. The couple in the diner who robbed the diner, they got a second chance by Jules could have killed him, but he let them go. So he let them go, and he just let them live, and he let them take the money after he gave them that insane speech, that wonderful speech. And as far as we know, they lived happily ever after. They just took their score and they went about their life. So that's not an apples to apples because we don't know what they went through afterwards, if they stopped doing crime or whatever, but I'd imagine they did. So now we move on to Vincent and Jules, where they both got shot at in the apartment, and the guy, the Seinfeld looking nigga, missed every shot with a hand cannon. Jules took his second chance, and he took his second chance by saying he was going to get out the life, but not only saying it, he proved it. When he could have killed the guy he called Ringo, he could have killed him and really just took all that money they got from the Wallace himself. He gave him the whole shepherd speech and let him go. And as far as we know, Jules got out the life. He delivered the case of Marcellus. We saw him do that. And as far as we know, he was done. And he lives happily ever after. There is one singular person in this movie who did not take their second chance, and that is Vincent. Vincent, after they delivered the case, he took Mia Wallace out on a date. Everything was fine. But then he stayed with Marcellus, and he was with him when he was going to hunt Butch. And what happened? Butch killed him. So everybody took their second chance except for Vincent. And they all had miraculous, divine intervention second chances. It's like that. I don't know what movie it was, but Morgan Freeman was like, if someone prays for courage, does God give them courage or situations to be courageous? And, into that whole speech. This is what it was, where these people probably were praying for a second chance to get out of this situation, and God got them out of this situation. However, he gave them a chance to prove that they deserved it, and the ones who proved they deserved it got to live on. The ones who did not were they died for it. Or the one who did not, he died for it. So yeah, that's the message of the movie. But beyond that, greatest dialogue ever, great storytelling. The way the story unfolds, man, is it's one of the ones, man. I could spend another 10 minutes dead ass just quoting this movie. Like, honestly, like just quoting this movie, man. But yeah, and it's crazy. Someone pointed out this is a really Bush's story. If we were to do this in order of like from the watch, him needing money, the boxing thing, and everything, like, yeah, if this movie was told in order, the first thing that would happen would be them going to the apartment to get the case, then Vincent blowing dude's head off, Marvin's head off, then them going to Tarantino's dude's house, the Tarantino character's house, Jimmy's house, meeting the wolf, getting their clothes changed, going to the breakfast diner, the stick up, which was the end of the movie, but if we're going in chronological order or sequential order, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it would be that. And then after that, they go to the bar where Butch is talking to Marcellus, drop off the case. After they drop off the case, then it would be Vincent going to get his heroin, and then after him getting the heroin, him taking out Mia. After he took out Mia, the next night would have been the fight. Then after the fight, it would have been Vincent getting killed. Then the whole freaky thrift store shit, and then Butch rides off to the sunset. Yeah, yeah, it was like a day and a half event. That's how long. That's what the movie would have been. Also, I love the details of shit of how like Vincent is like always in the bathroom when shit happens because a side effect of heroin is loose stools, and how when Mia had his coat on and she sniffed the heroin thinking it was coke because the dude gave him a baggie instead of a balloon, and I believe heroin comes in. Was the heroin usually comes in baggies, right? Or no? What did he get? I don't know. It's backwards, but it's whatever. Like the packaging heroin is usually in. The packaging the coke is usually in is what he had the heroin in. So she thought it was coke because of the because of the baggie it was, and she snorted it and then OD'd on it. So yeah, it's a whole bunch of little details in the movie like that that just yeah, they just make it worth rewatching for sure. And yeah, bro, that's my top 10, man. This was an hour long. I said I was going to do it justice how I thought I would. So you probably thinking, what the fuck was the 16-minute video? Because nigga, this was an extra 40 fucking minutes. But yeah, just to recap, honorable mentions was Jungle Book, 12 Angry Men, and Wedding Crashers. And then this was in order, by the way. My top 10 was The Matrix, Casino, Good Will Hunting, Avengers, Hustle and Flow, Shawshank Redemption, They Clone Tyrone, Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, Kill Bill, and Pulp Fiction. Um, yeah, man, I don't think there's much else to say, man. These are just all great movies. If you haven't seen any of these, please watch them. Yeah, I think all of them are great in their own right. If I had to recommend